This LAFCO meeting to order. If you'll all join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Ready to begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We will start with the introduction of commissioners and staff. To my left.
Mike Van Winkle, city alternate.
Terry Withrow, county member.
Amy Bublak, city member.
Kristen Olson, alternate county member.
Bill Berryhill, community member.
Sarah Little-Penny, executive officer.
Javier Camarena, assistant executive officer.
Rob Taro, LAFCO counsel.
Jennifer Goss, commission clerk.
Great, welcome. We'll open the public comment period now. This is time set aside for anything not listed on the agenda. Anybody rushing up to the lectern? And seeing nothing, we will move on, closing the public comment period. Approval of the minutes. Two of you are going to decline, according to our lawyer. So I need a motion and a second.
Who would that be?
Apparently, Van Winkle and Olson?
Okay. Neither Commissioner Van Winkle nor Olson.
Okay.
Thank you.
Ma'am.
Okay, I will. So it's just I will make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, it'll pass with the 3-0 and 2 abstentions. Moving on to correspondence.
You have a couple of items of informational correspondence, both from Cal LAFCO. One is regarding Cal LAFCO board opening. They're doing a recruitment right now, so if you have any interest in that, contact staff and we'll give you more info. And that's all.
Great. Declaration of disqualifications or conflicts, looking left and right, hearing and seeing none. We'll move to consent item. There is one item. Is there anybody in the audience that wished for us to pull this or came here specifically for this? No. Okay. Then if we have a motion to accept.
Move to approve.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Against? Okay, it passes unanimous. On to public hearings.
So first up is item 7A, which is our biennial audit for fiscal years 2014-15 and 2015-16. The commission will recall that they hired the outside audit firm of Robert Hawks to complete our audits. This is the same firm that completed audits for our last round, which covered really the entire livelihood of LAFCO. This just focused on the 2 fiscal years. The audit's been completed. Mr. Hawks is here, as well as Kashmir Gill from the county auditor's office. So if you have any questions of them, feel free. Other than that, I'll leave it open.
Any questions for our auditors? Come on, you've always got something, Terry.
I want him to come up and talk a little bit about the audit.
Thanks, Terry. I appreciate the invitation.
I always tell Lauren this is our time to shine.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen of the commission, thank you for having us back. We appreciate the opportunity to do the work, and we want to extend our thanks to LAFCO staff, and including Rob Taro and also Kashmir Gill and her staff in the auditor's office. They were of great assistance during the entire process. You have in your packet, of course, the financial statements. It includes a report that says we did an audit. It says we gathered enough information to form an opinion, and it says that our opinion is that your financial statements are fairly stated. There's also a report in the back that says during the course that's required under governmental auditing standards. It says that during the course of our audit, we're required to report to you instances of non-compliance and material weaknesses, and we found none. So keeping my comments brief and keeping the information at a very high level, that's the summary of the work we did. It sounds very short, but it did take us a long time. If you read the details of these statements, you'll see there are a number, and I know you're comparing them to the last set of statements that you had, because you're interested in the changes in the history and the details behind the numbers. And there's some significant changes in these statements, in part due to a determination that the staff who get paid by the county are actually employees of LAFCO, not employees of the county, which is a key determination. And then based on that, there are some new accounting standards requiring significant disclosures about pensions and post-retirement benefits that you may be aware of, which had to be incorporated in the LAFCO statements that had never been an element of the LAFCO financial statements previously. So again, our thanks to Kashmir and her staff as we work through that process. That's really all I have. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
I was just going to say, Rob, just in looking through this,
Yeah.
just talk about the presentation, the way we show the reimbursement, here on our statement of revenues.
Sure.
I just want to let you be able to talk here a little bit more.
Yeah, thanks. Well, it's a significant item, and it's worthy of mention. And let's see, which page are you on?
I think it's on page 17.
One in the back?
17, yeah.
Yeah. So we've got a large negative number in the revenue section of $437,000 and change, and that's reflected as a negative revenue because it is in fact a return of revenues previously received from member agencies. And this was an outcome from LAFCO direction and our previous audit work that determined and verified the fund balance that had grown to a significant level. And the Commission then decided, because the fund balance was exceeding the amounts that were required for reserves, to then turn and refund it to the member agencies. And so it looks a little odd to see a negative revenue number, and CPAs appreciate that.
So it'd be similar to in the private sector, just refunds sometimes are up above in the income statement, the revenue section of a
That's
financial statement, yeah. So I guess it's...
Right. So it's a contra revenue or a refund of revenue.
Yeah.
And it looks a little funny as a negative number, but it's a generous gesture, and of course very financially stewardship view to return that to all the member agencies who appreciated it very much, I'm sure.
Did we get any thank you letters? I don't remember getting it. I don't think we did. Okay.
I publicly said thank you on behalf of Sherlock.
That was good.
There we go.
All right.
There's an opportunity to elicit that, yeah.
Yes. All
Good
right.
job, Terry.
Thanks, Rob.
All right. Thank you all. If there are no other questions, I'll leave it to you.
Anybody? Nothing? Okay, thank you for that.
All right.
Anybody else I'll open it to the public. Anybody else interested in speaking? I'll close the public hearing and bring it back.
Okay, I will make a motion to approve our biannual audit.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Against say no. Passes unanimous. Item B.
So this is a request by the City of Modesto for an out-of-boundary service. This will serve their future Lit Road Corporation yard. This is the location of the site. They're wishing to provide both water and sewer services, which would be extended from existing lines in Lit Road. This is just an aerial view showing the site. You can see Mary Grogan Park over to the southwest, which is also a city-owned property. The city has indicated that the new corporation yard would be a consolidation of 3 other sites that they have currently, including one that's currently under lease. The city completed an initial study for the proposal, finding it to be consistent with the previously studied and previously studied under its general plan EIR. They do hope to annex the site at some point. The requirements actually of LAFCO are that if they are to annex it for public use, that it already be developed. So this is really part of the process for them to be able to develop it first and then come back later with an annexation application. So the government code requires that a city must obtain LAFCO approval prior to extending services outside its jurisdictional boundaries. Annexation, of course, is the preferred method for service extension. The Commission has recognized certain situations where out-of-boundary services might be appropriate. This is an excerpt of the government code describing the ability of the Commission to approve these. In this case, too, the proposed site is within the sphere of influence of Modesto, and as I said, they do anticipate annexing the site later on. Commission policy also outlines specific situations where the Commission would consider approving out-of-boundary service extensions. One of these is lack of contiguity that would currently make annexation infeasible, and that the requested public service is justified based on adopted land use plans or other entitlements for use. In this case, the city has stated that it's consistent with their general plan and has been contemplated as use for the public. Standard conditions that we apply on proposals like this are essentially that the city may not have any other users connect outside of their city to that same line without LAFCO approval. In other words, in this case, they would not be able to connect any development in between the site and the current city limits. We would expect annexation to occur first for that to happen. So our recommendation tonight is to adopt resolution number 2017-12, which would find the service extension to be consistent with state law and commission's policies, and approve the request subject to the standard condition that I just stated. And staff's available if you have any questions.
Any questions of staff? Yes, please.
Is anybody from the city of Modesto here?
So
I have some questions. Perhaps LAFCO staff will know them, but I doubt it. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, no problem. Robert Davalos, Associate Civil Engineer for the City of Modesto.
Okay, great. So a few questions as it relates to that area. What is the zoning for that whole area? Do you know?
I don't right off the top of my head.
Okay. Does LAFCO staff know?
currently in the county, it's zoned A2, and I don't remember the
Okay, that's
acreage
what I
minimum,
thought.
but it's agriculture.
Okay.
And then under the city's general plan, it would be considered, I believe it's like a business development designation.
Oh, really? Okay. And then, is that the only piece of property remaining in that area that the city owns? Is the
Yeah,
rest all
yes.
privately owned?
Yeah, yes, correct. That's
Okay.
correct.
And which 3 sites, corporation yards, are being consolidated?
So
here?
there's the existing corporation yard currently right now at Jefferson. So that's the administrative offices for water operations. And then there is the Tank 6 location off of Carpenter Road, 1201 Carpenter Road. And then there's a construction maintenance yard on Cadoni, 236 Cadoni Road.
Okay.
So all 3 of those locations will be consolidated into the site
Into
there.
this site, okay.
Yes.
And then, excuse my ignorance, I think this is probably more for LAFCO staff. Excuse my ignorance, being new to LAFCO, but does LAFCO have any jurisdiction over land use or just service, whether they can provide service?
We don't have any jurisdiction over land use and development standards.
Okay.
Things like that, the kind of the micro level planning part of it.
Okay, okay, thank you. Then I realize I'm a county supervisor, not a city council member, but I just think there are a lot of opportunities for that particular area, and I'd hate to give them up. But I appreciate you coming here this evening.
Any other questions of staff? If not, I'll open it to the public. Anybody from the public wishing to speak in regard to this? All right, I'll close the public hearing, bring it back to the commissioners.
Okay, I will make a motion to approve staff recommendations.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Anybody against, say no. It passes unanimous. Thank you. Moving on to commissioners' comments. Any commissioner have a comment or statement? Additional matters at the discretion of the chairperson. I have nothing. Executive officers report.
Just briefly, I'd mentioned that we received an application from the East Side Water District. They've since modified their application to include some additional acreage, so staff is still processing it and needed to actually refer it out to various agencies for review. But it includes about 9,000 acres on the east side and then overlapping into Merced County. So that's still upcoming and in the works.
Sarah, I'm sorry, what water district, what did you say?
East Side Water
East
District.
side, okay, sorry.
Kind of in the east of Turlock and
Yeah.
Benaire area.
Okay.
So that's still coming soon, and that's all for now.
Okay. And then we have a closed session. Mr. Terrell?
Yeah, this would be a time if you wish to open the meeting or invite public comment prior to going into closed session. Is there any
Okay.
public comment?
Open it to public. Nobody wishing to come forward to speak in regard to the evaluation? Okay, we'll close it, bring it back.
And you can adjourn and go to closed session.
All right, motion to adjourn to a closed session.
So moved.
We got a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you.